Hello folks, this is Carla and this time I'm here to do a review for the second Digimon Adventure Tri movie. This second movie is titled Determination and I just watched it. It came out yesterday and I had to watch it like straight away because as you know, Digimon is one of my favorite animes, one of my favorite anythings ever, really, and I had to watch it and I just did, and I have to say I liked it overall. I think I like the first one better, to be honest. I thought it did a better job of keeping me interested. But this one, I could see where they were almost like trying to get back the spirit of the original in a way. Because as deep as the original could be a lot of the time, it also had very lighthearted moments, very funny moments, when the kids were just being kids. And I thought they were trying to capture some of that with this one. Certainly the adults mentioned it enough about letting the kids be kids. And I appreciate that. I just feel they could have balanced it a little bit better. So basically in this particular movie, they focused on two of the Digidestined kids, on Mimi and Joe, which are two of my favorites. Yamato is my favorite, but Joe is a very close second. And I appreciate Mimi a lot. She's cute. I adore Mimi. She's adorable, really. And they focused on the two of them, and I think that's really interesting because by the time I got to the end of the movie, it was kind of obvious that they're going to be focusing on like pairs of the Digidestined just so that they can reach the mega levels with their Digimon. Obviously there's the character development and blah blah blah, but the major breakthrough here is kind of now they're evolving to mega, which is not something we had never seen before. Now I'm not like really up to date on the digivolving thing. Like for me it was always like, oh, they digivolve and then they kill the bad Digimon and whatever, that's it. But I've never been really clear on what's baby, what's child, what's champion and mega and whatever, and what comes after mega, and then there's DNA, and I'm like, I don't care. My brother knows all that stuff. I don't. But it was nice to see them sort of go one level up because it's something we never saw in the past. Actually, I had to ask my brother about it because I was like, wait, like, why is everybody freaking out? Like, have we not seen this before? And he's like, nope, they've never evolved to mega. And I'm like, really? And then like 2 seconds later, Koshiro actually says, wow, you've never evolved to mega before. So thanks for answering my question, Koshiro. But I think kind of the point of it is that in every new movie, a pair of them is going to evolve to mega at some point. In this one, it was Mimi and Joe. And like I said before, I liked them. I felt like I laughed a lot in this movie, especially in the first part of it, when they went to like the hot springs and they had the whole mess where they had to like go into the boys' bathrooms, and Mimi was like, "I'm going to sing," and I was laughing so hard. I thought it was hilarious. On the other hand, for the most part of it, I wanted to throw a shoe at Joe. I actually think I commented this to my brother and his girlfriend. I'm like, yep, why has it been 2 movies and nobody has thrown a shoe at Joe yet? Because he was being a jerk, basically. But, as things go, like I said, Joe is one of my favorite characters. So when I sat there and I started thinking about it, I thought, okay, I can see why that makes sense to him, the way he's acting. In a way, he knows it's wrong. He knows it, and it hurts him. He just doesn't know what else to do, in a way. And I think Taichi actually understood that, too. That was very interesting that Taichi's the one being understanding now. But basically, I feel like Joe is kind of grasping onto this idea of adulthood, in a way, because he thinks that adults have everything like together in a way, that they're more stable, and that's where he's kind of running away from, that instability of not knowing what's going to happen, particularly if he and his friends and the Digimon are fighting, you never know what's gonna happen when they're fighting. You never know who's gonna die. You never know if they're all gonna make it. And he's afraid of that. He doesn't want to lose Gomamon. He doesn't want to lose his friends. So he's afraid of that, and somehow in his mind he thinks that by simply not being a part of it, not participating, and just choosing not to be there when the fights happen, is going to make it easier on him. And he uses the excuse of I'm studying or I have to go to school, blah blah blah. That makes sense to him in a way. What he learns though is by the end is that Gomamon and the Digimon are part of the fight regardless, because they're part of the digital world. And even if they don't have to fight for the digital world, they now have to fight for the real world, because the fight is coming to them in a way. And there's just no separating that. And Joe has to decide that, well, if it comes down to it, I may not want to see my friends lose, but if I don't participate, I may not see my friends. I may not have my friends anymore. And I thought they did that in a nice way, especially because at the same time you could see, we were watching it and we kept joking about how emo Joe was being and whatever, and he cried a lot, and it really broke my heart, honestly. Like this entire Joe thing just really broke my heart as I was watching. But emo or not, it's a really interesting concern, because these are kids and they've been fighting for their lives and their friends' lives since they were, I don't know, TK and Kari were 8, and I it makes sense to me that at least one of them just kind of really grasps the idea of what this thing could be, what a fight could mean, the weight of a fight, and I think Taichi sees that too. So it's interesting that they're both kind of understanding each other. And he understands it, and he doesn't necessarily make it an excuse for himself. He's not all right with being away from the fight. He knows it hurts him. He feels like a coward, but he genuinely thinks that that's what he has to do. And he knows it's wrong, but he's kind of fighting that instinct of his to just stay away from the fight so that he doesn't have to see anyone suffer and he doesn't have to have anything happen to him. What he learns, though, is that he can't just dissociate his friendship with Gomamon with the fight, because Gomamon and the other Digimon are part of it. They're entrenched. It's part of them. They have to be involved, not just because it's their destiny, but because it's their home and it's what they are. They're digital monsters. They have to be part of the digital world, and whatever happens to the digital world affects them as well. So I think it was a good lesson for Joe. I really liked it. And, for those people who felt he was being a jerk, yeah, he was a little bit, but he was also kind of ashamed, he felt like a coward, and he knew he was being a coward, and he was ashamed to. It's a vicious cycle. It's like, okay, I don't show up the first time because I don't want to fight, and then when they call him again and again and again, he doesn't show up because he's embarrassed that he didn't show up the first time, so it's, I think it made a lot of sense, and I really applaud that. I also, the Mimi thing was kind of a little bit more flimsy to me, but I could see it. It's just, she's always so enthusiastic about everything and anything, and she's always like, go first, think later, and I guess that's kind of what they wanted to do with her in this one. It's like she's always so trying to help, and she's always kind of thinking that, that her ideas are going to make things better in a way, not the fact that she thinks she has the best ideas or anything, but she doesn't stop to think of what happens next after her ideas, after she actually does things. So a lot of the time, she's so enthusiastic about everything that she doesn't stop to think, what might come, and she doesn't stop to listen to what other people might tell her, and sometimes that makes things worse, like it happened with Palmon, Togemon. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, you don't attack something like that with a needle spray. You have to go with the directional power, man. It should have been anybody but Togemon, but I guess that's the point they were trying to make. It's like, Mimi's like, oh, just attack the thing, but she didn't kind of think of the fact that needle sprays go everywhere, and there might be people around who might get hurt, right? I liked it. I'm not sure that I would have kind of pegged it as selfish necessarily, because I don't think she's doing it out of selfishness. I think she's being very selfless, and I think she's trying to help people, and her enthusiasm she tries to make people happy. Like with May, she was, involving May in this whole thing that May would never have been involved in the first place. You know what I mean? But I think she genuinely wants to make people happy. So I was kind of peeved at that scene after the Togemon thing where everybody was like, yeah, Mimi, you probably shouldn't have done it. And then Koshiro, of all people, just kind of goes off at her, calls her selfish. I'm like, weren't you just like in love with her 2 seconds ago or something? I thought that was kind of weird, and especially since he went back to liking her like 2 seconds later. But I don't know that I would call her selfish, but okay, I do think over enthusiastic is not necessarily a good thing either. That's why I really liked the talk that she had with Joe by the river. I thought that was really interesting, because Joe doesn't... She and Joe go a long way back, okay? They were stuck together in the digital world by themselves for a long time in the first season, and I think they're much better friends than people give them credit for, especially because they're so different, and I think they came to a better understanding of each other. That's why I was like jumping up and down when they hugged in the first movie, because I really think they're much closer than people give them credit for. And I could see that in this scene as well, because it seemed like Joe just understood what she was trying to say and tried to calm her down, even though he was feeling like crap. It's one of those things when he tells her that her enthusiasm and her quote-unquote annoyingness or whatever isn't necessarily a bad thing. If she's trying to help people, he tells her that, and okay, he kind of unloads on her about how it's still much better than his being a coward. But I think I really smiled at how easy it was for him to just kind of make her feel better about her own flaws, even though he was being like really harsh on himself, and she couldn't really do anything in return, because I don't think she understood exactly. I don't think that's because she doesn't understand him. It's just it's the position they're in, and it's the position, for example, that Taichi's in, and why he can't explain himself to Yamato either. Because it feels very embarrassing, and I don't know that she actually has felt that way ever, so I can understand that she didn't, but I thought it was really, really sweet how easily he was able to make her feel better after Izzy just kind of freaking sounded off at her so harshly. And of course I'm a shipper, so as soon as it started raining, I was like, whoops, this is the Notebook all over again. Can they just kiss now? Obviously they didn't, but I really liked that they gave them that scene. It was kind of really romantic movie, like a romantic movie cliche moment. So I was like, yep, they were thinking of me in this moment right now. Great. Speaking of shipping though, we didn't get very many hints this time around. There was that weird thing with TK and Meiko, which I find really weird, because isn't she like Yamato's age, or Mimi's age at least? Like she's older than him, right? He's like 3 years younger than Yamato, so it just feels weird that they're flirting all over the place. I did, however, like the little tidbits that they gave about TK and Carrie. I obviously I'm not like shipping them. They were a ship of mine, but after the epilogue in Digimon 2, I kind of cooled down on them. I'm like, okay, that's fine, as long as they're best friends, I don't really care. And we really did see them being best friends, like just little tidbits here and there. Like TK telling her, "Oh, I should have called you to wake you up," and then later on it's like Carrie warning Mako about TK and stuff like that. I thought that was really cute. We didn't really get much of anything apart from that, really. I mean, I did think it was funny that Mimi just burst into the boys' room, and to the boys' spa, side of the spa, and found Taichi and the others, like, just taking showers and just generally being naked. I thought it was really funny. But it wasn't really, I didn't really see it as a shipping thing. We didn't see any of the Sora and Yamato, which I'm waiting for, honestly, because, come on. If they're leading us to, like, who they are in the epilogue, then I really think we really need to see that at some point. Speaking of, I really like the little tidbits that they gave towards that. Like, for example, Sora was the one who sewed all the outfits that Mako and Mimi wore, and etc. I did think the daters thing was kind of weird, because she was all like, "Oh yes, this is really popular in America," and I'm like, "Nope, it's really not. It's only popular in Japan, and that's because Japanese people are weird." But it was cute. I mean, I like Mako. I really do like her a lot better now that she's starting to come out of her shell, and I think she and Mimi kind of make a good duo, because as much as I love Mimi and Sora's kind of general interaction and just their relationship, they're different in the sense that Mimi's like very girly girl and Sora's a bit of a tomboy. Here you have Mako, who's not quite a tomboy. He's still kind of a girly girl for the most part, but she's really shy. So I thought she and Mimi kind of made a good pair. I thought the whole thing with them dressing up and doing cheerleading routines while a bunch of boys watched them creepily was weird. But I guess that's Japan. But I would have done without that too. I also didn't like that whole thing where Himekawa actually said the photo of Mimi like raising her leg to Kochiro, and then all of a sudden he's like, "I have to be there." That was weird. My brother is sitting beside me. He was like, puberty. I'm like, oh, I don't want to think about that. I like, in my mind they're still like 10 years old. I don't know, but I thought that was weird. Another thing that I thought was weird was when Rosemon Lilymon turned into Rosemon, her breasts were really bouncy. And I was like, okay, that's okay. I can take that in something like Evangelion, which is known for doing that and known for the fan service, but this is Digimon, okay? I don't need to see bouncing breasts on Digimon. It was really unsettling for me for some reason. But then she started fighting and you can't really see anything anymore. But just when she transforms, like right when she transforms, her breasts bounce a lot. And I was like, whoa, somebody got silicone. I don't know. It was weird to me, so I would rather they not do that anymore. I don't know. And overall, I mean, they still had the Matt and Tai thing hanging, sort of, because Matt was like mad because because Omegamon broke down, which is something I hadn't actually noticed. I didn't actually remember. I thought they were fine now. You know, I thought they had made up, or at least as much as those two can make up. But I guess not. I mean, they're still arguing. So I guess we'll see. Like I said, I really liked Mako in this one. I didn't think much of her in the first one, but this one, she really won me over. I think she's really cute. I like seeing Leomon back, and Ogremon back. I did kind of wonder, like, what happened to Ogremon, because, you know, Leomon brought him back into the portal that one time, and then they never spoke of him again. So, I wonder what happened there. Makomon, I didn't like Makomon, honestly. It's like, everybody's like, oh, she's so cute, and blah, 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 and she, like, all the time, she or he, I don't even know what he or she is supposed to be, but she kind of gets lost for no reason at all, and I'm sitting there going, they're going to eat you freaking don't separate from your partner. Will you just stay put? No, she just walked around until somebody grabbed at her. It happened like 3 times. Thankfully, only the last one was the bad one, but really, like, how stupid do you have to be? Do you not watch movies, man? But I really just didn't really like her, and I find her very whiny. So, I don't know. And then in the end, she goes insane and goes bad. It's like, what is happening here? I still don't really quite understand what's going on. Then all of a sudden, Ken is there, and he's Digimon Kaiser again, and he's evil, and I don't understand what's happening. But I think it's really cool, though, that Ken is the bad guy again, because he was a good bad guy. Even though, when he became good, he was kind of a little blah for me. I liked him better when he was evil. So it's good, but I do wonder, however, because in the end, the only ones who were able to enter the rift going after Ken and Mekomon were Leomon, obviously, and then there were Palmon and Gomamon. And none of the others could go in. So I thought that was weird. Like, why would that happen? Why would Ken only let 2 of them enter? And then I'm like, now that after I watched it and I sat back and I'm like, are they pulling a card capture Sakura on us? Like, is this going to be an Ariel situation where, he's only testing them or whatever? Because it did really seem suspicious to me that only the 2 of them could go in instead of, like, all the others. I guess we'll see. I do wonder why nobody else is asking where Davis is. I mean, that's half his Digimon right there, right? So, where did Davis go? Why is he not with Ken? Where are, Yoli and Cody, or whatever their name, I'm sorry, in Japanese that I forgot. Where are they? Why is nobody asking about them? It's been 2 movies. We should probably know something about them by now. So, and they should go to, like, the same school with Carrie and TK, right? So, why are they not around? Why has nobody noticed? I think that's kind of weird. But overall, about this movie, I enjoyed it. For the most part, I really liked the Joe thing. Not as much the Mimi thing, but I liked their scene together. And I really loved Joe's argument with Gomamon. I thought that was very powerful and really well done. And really true to who the characters must be by this point. Like, it's a conflict, an internal conflict that I can see Joe having. So, I thought that was really good. I just felt that the pacing of it was a little weird, because as much as I was laughing and having fun with it, it really felt like nothing major really happened until the last part, because there are 4 parts. So, like, after the 3rd one, my friends and I just turned to each other going, wait, nothing has happened yet, right? So, of course, you have the big thing at the end, in the fourth installment of it, 4th part of it, but it felt like nothing happened up until that point, and that just felt weird to me. So I don't think I liked it as much as I did the first one, but I still liked it. It seems very real to me in the sense that they are teenagers now and they have all these conflicts, personal conflicts, not just Digimon conflicts. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of them, what their conflicts are. It seems like the next one is going to be TK and Izzy, it seems. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess that leaves Sora and Carrie for the last one, and then hopefully some resolution in the last 2 movies, because there's 6 of them. Next one is coming out in September, so we have a long time to wait. But I'm quite satisfied with this one. I will probably watch it again in a few days, and try to think of it a little bit more. But for the moment, I liked it. It was okay. I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I still really liked it, and I love the insight it gave us on Joe and Mimi, because they deserve to have the focus every once in a while, right? And they were so different and yet so complementary in a way, the issues that they had, that I really enjoyed that bit. That's it for me today. I will see you As usual, don't forget to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have reviews not just for other movies, but also for TV shows, books, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to visit and check it out. And also, if you want to be notified straight away whenever we upload any new reviews, then you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because most of the time the reviews go up there first, even before they hit the website. So that's the fastest way not to miss anything. And that's it for me today. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye.